Joining us right now on our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline, a longtime favorite of our program, and always a pleasure to welcome Skip Schumaker back
Tier
with
one
us.
Skip Schumaker.
Tier
Hey,
1 Skip Schumaker back with us here on 97.3. The Fan. Skip, good morning.
Hey, good morning. It feels like old times. I'm driving into the yard from Orange County, listening to you guys, so it started off as a really good day so far.
Well, we appreciate it. Now, let's pretend for a moment we are a Miami-based morning show, just for a moment. So the first thing I would have said, we've got our weekly call with manager Skip Schumaker, and I will say, Skip, I've got to question your managerial skills last night, letting Jake Berger be thrown out at home by Fernando Tatis Jr., because why wouldn't you challenge that? We've lost every single challenge at home plate this year. Were you not aware of that situation?
I do remember it. I remember your situation. I remember the Padres situation. Actually, Cortez just got hit the other night by Tatis, and you guys challenged it. And it was reversed, because I think it might have been San Fran when you guys lost that one.
Yeah,
or whatever it was.
correct.
So, yeah, it's just it's a really weird rule. It's such a gray area. I still don't understand it. That's why it gets challenged all the time.
It's a guaranteed win for you if you challenge that, though, last night. We have not won one all season long. I thought Sanchez was in the right spot.
Oh, he was like 18 feet in front of home plate and then ran back to make the tag because he didn't want it to get overturned on him yet again this season.
And by the way, how wild is that? We're talking to a big league manager. We've talked to Bob Melvin about it before. We've talked to broadcasters. Everyone's like, yeah, no idea. No idea. You don't even know what to tell your catchers, do you?
I just know that you set up both feet in fair territory, and then after that, I have no idea what they look at. I'm just completely, I've been told that, what they look at, and then we review it, and it's just completely different. So I don't know. It's almost like the check swing.
Yeah.
Like some people identify the check swing as like breaking the hand or the body or a catch to the ball. Nobody really knows. They just call it. So it's a really confusing rule.
Skip, Blake Snell said after the game and threw pretty well last night, but had the one inning and he said he got a little mentally out of sorts after giving up the home run to Jorge Soler, and it was a monster home run, and Soler flexed.
Beast.
I mean, we're not going to complain about it. We got guys who flex on big home runs for sure.
It was awesome.
But it was an epic flex by Soler. It got into Blake's head a little bit, he said. What did you see kind of in that situation? Because I know kind of umpires almost stepped in. It really wasn't addressed much on the TV broadcast, though.
Yeah, I think for us, Soler was just a little frustrated in his at-bats lately. And so for him, it was more of like, I got one. I got one. Finally, I got it. Just because of where he's been at lately. Frustrated with his first at-bat. Didn't have a great series in L.A., so he was just more of like, kind of wanted to fire off a good swing. I finally got it. I think that might have been his career-long home run, so he felt good about the home run. And it was no ill will against Blake. You're playing. It's a competitive game, and you're playing. Men are playing a boys' game, and sometimes things happen. It's just competitive stuff.
Frustrated by 33 home runs. We could use a few more of those frustrated players over here, Skip.
I've never hit anything that hard in my life, Skip. My God, that ball was a missile out into the ivy. Talking to Marlins manager Skip Schumaker on Ben and Woods here this morning. And, you've done a really good job, man. I think admirable job with what you have, what you've had to clean up there in Miami this season. So, tell me about it. It's something that's kind of been pervasive in the media here all year. We've kicked it around. Fans kick it around all the time. The issue of culture and how a culture is created. You obviously came up in the St. Louis organization. They preach and practice culture. I know you've taken a lot of that to Miami. How difficult is it to implement into a clubhouse?
Well, it is challenging. I think first and foremost, for me, I was very lucky to pick my own staff. And once I got staff that knew what winning looked like, and there's non-negotiables, we were proactive and not reactive to stuff that happened early on in spring training, like day one. These were our non-negotiables. This is what we're about. We had to trim the fat. We had to get rid of the BS because I always felt like one guy can tear a team down, tear an organization down. I've been on teams like that. And so I was very lucky to incorporate some guys from, I know you're not going to want to hear this, but the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, and some ex-Padre guys, and Rod Barajas and Griffin Benedict. And so I was very lucky to bring them on and incorporate, the culture, try to implement a winning and sustainable culture that, these guys know what winning looks like. And, we tried to do the best we could day one of spring training, and guys bought in. And we were very lucky that we had some leaders in that clubhouse that bought in right away.
What are, if you don't mind my asking, and I'm fascinated by this stuff, as you know, what are some of your non-negotiables? Because I've got a few for Ben that I've written down as well. But what are your non-negotiables?
Well, I do feel like there's non-negotiables and for each coach on the staff. I just feel like you need to dominate your area. So the non-negotiables in base running are, like, for instance, you hit the bag with the right foot every single time. Your secondary leads are, you have intent with secondary leads, or your non-negotiable for outfield is pre-pitch and first step. You don't miss the cutoff man. Just infield guys have their thing, so know what their non-negotiables were and don't get away from it. And once you get away from it a little bit, then that's when those, the big-time players or some of our even rookies in our minor league system will take advantage of it. And so we needed to implement that type of system and that type of culture, not only at the major league level, but at the minor league level, so we could have in direct communication that what we expect up here at the major league level better be is expected at the minor league level as well. And that's when I think this thing will work.
Skip Schumaker is with us here, and I think that attention to detail sometimes shows up in your record in close games, and the Marlins have the best record in one-run games at 27-11. The Padres have the worst record in baseball in one-run games at 6-19. Now, I know you got a ton of respect for Bob Melvin, and his attention to detail is there as well, but do you have any explanation for your success in one-run games, or some people say it's a lot about luck as well, just winning those close ones? What do you think has made you guys so good in those close ones?
Well, last year we were the worst in one-run games. I think we lost.
And the Padres were the best.
Yeah. So we lost, I think, 41-run games. They were like 20-40 or something. So, there's a lot of talk in the offseason. How do we flip that? I think it was important that, we identified some bullpen issues, that we had to fix up and clean up, and our GM and our front office did a really good job of doing that. We saw a lot of the back-end guys last night that has helped that as well, with Tanner Scott and Lozardo, Tanner Scott and Nardi, and obviously the addition of Robertson. But, I think we won a couple of them early. And I will say, sometimes we're out talented. I mean, that's just, our roster. But our guys they believe and they don't quit. So we just have a bunch of guys that fight. And that's what I'm most proud of our guys in our clubhouse. They just don't believe that they're out of anything. And I think when you win a couple of those close ones early, then you start believing we can do this. We've been here before. No big deal. We'll just give it to our bullpen. They'll keep us in the game, and we'll fight back. And I think it starts early on when you win a couple of those games, and then they just start believing it's just part of our brand, part of our culture that we're in every game.
Talking to Skip Schumaker here on Ben and Woods this evening. How difficult is it for you, and guys know you. They know you were in the league. They respect that. They know you played the game at the highest level and played it well. But how hard is it once you're the boss, right, to then we talked a little bit yesterday about, hey, yeah, I've had to pull guys out of a game, and they're not always happy about it. How difficult is that part of the job, or maybe, sadistically, do you look forward to that a little bit, getting in somebody's face a little?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Tony La Russa told me, you make a move to don't make a move to cover your butt, make a move to trust your gut, don't make a move to cover your butt. And I always thought about that as I'm making the moves, is how prepared am I to make those moves? And my job is to put the right guys in the right spot to succeed, and to give themselves the best chance, to give ourselves the best chance to win. And if I'm not prepared and I'm just making a move because the analytics says they'll make the move, then the players will see right through it, and then they know that the front office is making the moves, and you have no credibility. So I think you need to have a blend. Don't get me wrong. I love analytics. I know the numbers. I tried to learn them as much as I could. through my days in San Diego and obviously in St. Louis last year of like what it really works in today's game and what players understand, because there's feel, there's a human element to this thing. And so when the player knows that you're all in on them and it's not just a numbers game, then that's when I think those tough conversations become just a little bit easier.
You know, and it brings up an interesting point because I have to imagine, I've said it before, maybe I'm wrong because I know nothing about managing at the big league level or really any level. I have to imagine
you did well as a T-ball manager this last year.
I did, yeah.
Don't sell yourself short.
That's true. And hey, listen, wait till they hear my list of non-negotiables. They're dead. They are dead. They're going to hate the day they played for me. But no, Skip, I got to imagine, and we talk about it all the time, bullpen management, always the easiest thing to second guess. How much of that, obviously, like you said, you stick to the numbers sometimes, you know the numbers. How much of that is just gut feel? Like, man, I know he's scuffling a little bit right now, but I like this spot for him. How nerve-wracking is it, to be honest?
Yeah, it's both. It's gut feel and preparation. I have a really good pitching staff that we talk to an hour before the game every single day that we meet up. And we make sure that, the guys are healthy, the guys are fresh, that we anticipate, pitching in leverage situations. The game will tell you, whether you are ready or not for that role. And then sometimes you earn those roles, right? Like Nardi has grown into this role in the 7th and 8th inning. So I do think that as difficult it is, and you hold your breath sometimes, with bullpen decisions and when to take guys out, and I'll be the first to admit I have not been perfect, in pulling guys out or leaving guys in too long or taking them out too early. I think every manager will look back, and there's a couple games that you lose sleep at night thinking about some of the moves you've made. But I do think it comes back to the preparation, and when you have your staff that's all in on these moves and we prepared for these moments, and it doesn't work out, then you can live with it a little bit better, easier, I should say.
Last thing for me, Skip, it's been a couple of years since you left the Padres organization, but who are some of the guys, whether it be players or coaches or staffers, who are like you must catch up with when you come back and see them, like some of your favorites that you get to visit with when you're here?
There's so many. Honestly, there's so many good guys in there. Fred Ullman's amazing. I think, TJ Lasita is one of the best people in that organization. Best people.
Definitely secretary,
one of my best friends. Yeah, driving secretary is one of my best friends. He's so great for that organization, and he'll be a friend for life there for me and my family. Just all the stuff that he's done. But player wise, I talked to quite a bit of guys. Coaching staff, still Ben Fritz and Ryan Flaherty are really good people and good coaches. Players wise, I look forward to always seeing Tatis and Musgrove and Jake Cronenworth. Those are probably my favorite guys, over there. And, obviously Manny was always great. So there's just a lot of good people there. But, I definitely miss a lot of those guys.
Well, and tell us, you on the bump today, you've got Sandy Alcantara, who I'm obsessed with. I have been for a long time. I know he scuffled at the beginning of the year, but he has turned in some remarkable performances. Again, you never know. Baseball's so weird. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if the Padres beat Alcantara just because it's been such a weird year. That being said, one of those days kind of as a skipper, you're like, I feel pretty good about the bullpen today and everyone getting a decent rest. He has the ability to go 9 every time out. How fun is it to manage that guy?
Yeah, it is. It's amazing to watch him. He has the work ethic of a Joe Musgrove. He wants to pitch 9 innings every single night. So it's tough to go to the mound in the 7th inning or whatever it is. As tough as a year Sandy had in the first half, he still leads the league in innings pitched, just to show you who he is. And his second half has been more of the Sandy that, we saw in the first half. He wants the ball. It's really nice to have, like you said, to reset that bullpen, because you're going to get 7 at least. And so we're looking forward to having him, obviously, Game 3 of the series.
When players call you Skip, do you think they're calling you by your name or they're calling you Skip, like short for Skipper? Because that is the nickname for, most managers is Skip. Hey, Skip, how's it going? Like Bob Melvin, hey, Skip.
Funny. Yeah. Tony used to remind me every day. He's like, you might be Skip, but I'm the mother effing Skipper. Don't forget that. So, yeah.
I love it.
Well,
Yeah.
great catching up with you. Really appreciate all the visits. Good luck to you guys the rest of the season. Obviously, if the Padres can't do it, we certainly would love to see you guys make a nice run in October. So maybe we'll chat with you then as you get ready for a playoff series.
Thanks, guys. Always great catching up. Love your show.
Appreciate it,
Skip,
buddy. Thank
who is
you.
now the MFing Skip of the Miami Marlins.